Hello everyone, in this video we'll talk about division by decimal number. Here we have 87.3 divided by 2. As we notice that in the dividend there is a point, but in the divisor there is no point. In this case, when we do not have a point in the divisor, we divide normally. That is, we put the dividend and the divisor in their places. And we look at the dividend, which is 87.3, and go to the last number on the left. Here we have 8 greater than the divisor. This means that we can complete the process. Now in this step, we look for the 8 in the multiplication table for the divisor, which is 2. We find that the 8 is here. 2 times 4 equal 8. So we write the number multiplied by 2, which is 4. We put it here and immediately multiply the 4 by 2 and put the answer here. Now in this step we do a subtraction. 8 minus 8 equals 0. Because 0 is smaller than the divisor, so we put 7 here. The 7 is greater than the 2, so we can complete the process. Now we look for the 7 and we find the 7 is here between 6 and 8. We always take the smaller one, so we take 2 times 3 equals 6 and put the number multiplied by 2, which is 3, and put it here. Immediately we multiply it by 2 and put the answer here. Now we do subtraction. 7 minus 6 equals 1. Because 1 is smaller than the divisor, so we put 3 here. But we noted that there is a point here next to the 3. This means that when we put 3, we must put the point here in the quotient and we get 13, which is greater than 2. We look for the number 13 in the multiplication table and we find it here between 12 and 14. So we take the smaller one. So we take 2 times 6 equals 12 and we put 6 here. Immediately we multiply it by 2 and put the answer here. Now we do a subtraction to get the answer 1. Here we are done because 1 is smaller than 2 and there is nothing here to put. But in this case, we can also complete the process in this way. We always have the right to put 0 here when the remainder is smaller than the divisor, but when we do this, it is certain that there is a point in the quotient. So the quotient becomes a decimal number. So we put 0 next to the 1 and we get 10, which is greater than 2. So we look for 10 here in the multiplication table. We find it here. So we put 5 here and immediately multiply 5 by 2 to get 10 and we do a subtraction to get 0. Now we have finished the process completely because the number here is 0. Now we move here. We have 152 divided by 1.2 because there is a point in the divisor, meaning that the divisor is a decimal number, so we must remove the point from the divisor using multiply. Because the point is here, so in order to remove it, we must always go to the right. So we notice that there is one number here. This means that we must multiply by 10 only. So the process becomes like this. As we notice that the divisor has become without a point. Now we can start the process using these numbers. So we take the 15 because it is greater than 12. So we find the 15 here between 12 and 24. So we take the smaller one, which is 12 times 1 equals 12, and put the 1 here, directly multiply it by 12 and put the answer here. And here directly we do a subtraction. 15 minus 12 equals 3. Because 3 is less than 12, so we put the 2 here. So we have 32 because 32 is greater than 12, so we can complete the process. We find that the 32 is here between 24 and 36. Of course, we always take the smallest, so we take 12 times 2 equal 24, and we put this 2 here and immediately multiply it by 12 and put the answer which is 24 here, and immediately do a subtraction to get 8. Because 8 is smaller than 12, we put this 0 here and we get 80. We look for 80 here and we find it between 72 and 84. Of course, we take the smallest, so we take 12 times 6 equals 72 and write the multiplied number, the divisor, we write it here, and immediately multiply the 6 by 12 and put the answer here. We immediately do a subtraction to get the answer 8. Since 8 is smaller than 12 and there is no number here, this means that the process is finished. But we can complete it in this way, putting 0 next to the 8 and looking at the quotient. Since there is no point, so it is not a decimal number, we must put a point to become a decimal number. Now we look for 80 in the multiplication table and we find it here between 72 and 84. So we take the smallest, so we take 12 times 6 equals 72 and put this number which is 6. We put here 6 times 12 equals 72, and here we do a subtraction. 80 minus 72 equal 8 because 8 is smaller than 12. Also again we can put 0 here next to 8, so we get 80, and we find that 80 is between 72 and 84, so we take the smaller one which is 12 times 6 equals 72 and we put this 6 here. 6 times 12 equals 72. We do a subtraction and we get 8. Also we can complete the process several times, that is we put 0 next to 8 and we can stop the process when we get about 3 numbers or more after the point, depending on the question. Now we move to here. We have in the dividend and the divisor, we have a point. The first step is to remove the point from the divisor. It doesn't matter if there is a point in the dividend. And in order to remove the point from the divisor, as we noted that there are 2 numbers after the point on the right. This means that we must multiply by 100 like this. We also see that the point has been removed from the divisor. Now we start the division process. We also see that we must take all 104. We find that 104 is between 63 and 126. So we always take the smaller one, 6. We write this here and immediately multiply it by 63 and write the answer here. Now we do a subtraction. 104 minus 63 equals 41. 41 is smaller than 63, so we must put this 9 here. But as we noted here, there is a point. When we put the 9 here, we must put a point in the quotient. So we get 419. We find that 419 is between 378 and 441. So we take the smaller one, which is 63 times 6 equals 378. So we write this 6 here, immediately multiply it by 63 to get 378. Now we do subtraction. 419 minus 378 equals 41. Because 41 is smaller than 63, so we cannot complete the process with 41. But we can always put 0 here. But when we put 0, the quotient must be a decimal number, meaning that it contains a point. If there is no point, we must put a point in the appropriate place. As we notice here, there is a point. Now we complete the process. 410 is here, so we take the smaller one, which is 63 times 6 equals 378, and we put the 6 here and multiply the 6 by 63 to get 378. Now we do a subtraction to get 32. Also 32 is smaller than 63, so we can put 0 here. So it becomes 320. We find that 320 is here, so we take 63 times 5 equal 315 and put this 5 here. Also multiply the 5 in the divisor to get 315. 320 minus 315 equal 5. We can also continue in the same way or stop as long as we get 3 numbers after that point. But there is a simple note which is if we complete the process and put a 0 next to the 5, it becomes 50, and 50 is also less than 63. For this reason, we must put 0 in the quotient and put another 0 next to the 50. So it becomes 500, and we complete the process in this way.